What's up, everybody? My name is Lupe Alcides. This is my own personal biased opinion. Even though people on social media don't like you to have your own opinion, you have to be with the grain. You can't go against the grain, right? This is the way I see things, which is the topic of my video. Perception. Your perception of things will determine what you get out of whatever it is, right? Your perception on everything, right? What you get it, what you put into it, you get out of it. You get out of it what you put into it. So, for example, I've seen people talk about relationships, right? They post negative things, but is it because it's a negative situation or because that's the way you see it? One of the reasons I like Big Bang Theory is because Sheldon, he just says, and it's not that he doesn't have a filter, it's that that's the way he sees things, right? He doesn't see, in his mind, it's not wrong to say certain things. We do and say what's socially acceptable because, one, we don't really want to hurt other people's feelings. Some people like to say, oh, I don't care, I tell you how it is and all that stuff and everything. That's kind of like a jerk mentality, to be honest, because people's feelings do matter. Yeah, we are in a society that's overly sensitive, but that doesn't mean you just go straight up to somebody and say, hey, you're a fat piece of shit, or whatever, right? One, because that's your perception of it. It's your perception that they're a fat piece of shit, just for example. So, but for him, for Sheldon, it's just that he doesn't know that it's wrong to say honest things about people because you hurt their feelings, right? We just don't say certain things to certain people, especially, to their face. We try to be somewhat empathetic and sympathetic. Like that whole thing, as soon as you die, your stuff goes to other people, but you don't sit there and say it out loud, especially when that person is dying. Oh, you're gonna die, can I have, blah blah blah. It's not very sympathetic. So one of the reasons I was thinking about this is because I've seen people post on social media that they don't like being single, right? Being single sucks. Being single is lonely. It's really not. It's really not. It's the way you perceive it that makes it crappy or lonely or whatever, right? You could be alone in your house all day, every day, but you're only lonely if your mentality is that you're lonely. When I used to live alone, I was never lonely. I was alone, but I was never lonely because I didn't let my mind think that way. I've seen one of my favorite comments that I've seen lately is, I'm tired of being bored. I'm tired of being stuck at home. I need someone to take me out. Along those lines, right? Sometimes they're worded differently. Sometimes they're worded exactly that way. But it's that whole idea about happiness is not inside of somebody else. Your happiness is inside of you. Ask people who have been married for a very long time and they're not happy. They will tell you that it's not the other person. It's you. It's you that chooses to not be happy. People move thinking that, oh, I just need a change of scenery. I've had a lot of people complain that it's boring here in San Antonio. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of restaurants, there's a lot of bars, there's a lot of karaoke places. We have theme parks. Visit Texas SeaWorld. There's downtown, there's the Riverwalk, there's a lot of parks, there's a lot of libraries, there's a lot of arts and crafts that you can do. There's a shitload you can do in this city. But if you choose to be boring, then yeah, it's gonna be boring here. But trust me, even if you're just at home, alone, doing nothing, either watching TV, playing video games, writing in your journal, reading a book, it's only boring if you want it to be boring. I was doing that for the past few years before I moved in with my sister. Sitting home alone. Either watching TV, either reading a book, either writing in my journal, or just thinking. It's only boring if you want it to be. It's only lonely if you want it to be. It's how you perceive it. It truly, really is, you guys. A lot of people, it's so hard because they're so conditioned to think that way, that I can only be happy if I'm dating somebody. I can only be happy if I'm at the bar. I can only be happy if I'm surrounded by people. I can only be happy if I'm in this certain situation. You choose to think that way. You choose to feel that way. But it's not really the case. It really isn't. It's how you perceive it. Here's another example. I was thinking the other day, you see all these food trucks, right? You see people sitting there eating with the music and the drinks, whether they're alcoholic or non-alcoholic. And I was thinking, you know what? They look fucking happy. Just sitting there eating. And some of us like to judge, right? That's why broke people are always broke, because you'd rather spend your money going out to eat all the time instead of doing something more productive or something that's gonna help you make more money, right? If you don't have any money, why are you gonna waste it eating out all the time? Why are you gonna waste it on somebody else preparing your food, where you could spend that money buying your food and preparing it yourself and not be broke all the time? But then I was thinking, you know what? If that's how they choose to live their life and it makes them happy, so what if they're okay being broke all the time? If they're okay with it and if they're happy being broke, as long as they get to eat certain foods, if that makes them happy, good for them, right? Because that's how they perceive enjoying life, right? I personally stopped drinking, but for my own personal reasons, but I used to enjoy drinking. That's why I don't judge people. I mean, I think to spend your entire paycheck getting drunk or spending it at the bar, I think that could be better spent. But if that's how you choose to waste your money, then so be it. I'm not going to judge somebody because I spend my money on food. I spend my money on workout equipment. I have weights and workout stuff at home. That's how I choose to be happy. You may not think so because you'd rather sit there and watch TV eating chips. I think it's unhealthy, but you have these people that YOLO, you only live once, carpe diem. I'd rather live unhealthy knowing that I could drop dead tomorrow than being healthy knowing that I could drop dead tomorrow. I just think that it's more beneficial to you to try to be as healthy as possible, fit. Because personally, I don't want to be depending on other people, especially when I get older. I saw some people yesterday, very, very old, fragile, and they probably weren't even that old. And I was thinking to myself, I don't want to be like them. I have to keep working out until I can't work out anymore. But that's the way I perceive my reality, my perception, right? So I think that's one thing that we need to look at and think about is how we perceive things and how we choose to accept things. You can only be happy if you choose to be happy. A brand new car is only going to make you happy if you choose to let it make you happy. Look at this one episode of Big Bang Theory. They had been talking about having a kid, and as soon as they found out that as soon as they found out that she was pregnant and they were going to have a kid, he starts freaking out. It's something that they want and something that they wanted, but as soon as they found out that they have it, he starts freaking out. Because that's how he started seeing things and putting things in his head. Even stuff like getting married, having a kid, having a boyfriend or girlfriend, getting a new job, moving into your own place, having a new vehicle. It's a good thing if you let it be a good thing. It could be a bad thing if you let it be a bad thing. Trust me when I say that you will truly be happy if you stress less and try to accept everything as it is, and not only see the good in everything, but try to see everything as a good thing.